Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphan Last, aka Skylar Madison, and today I'm doing the 5 years in retrospect video for 2021. I've been here on YouTube for 5 years, and this is the first year where I've gone on break. I only posted videos for probably about 6 months of 2021, and ultimately the reason why I went on break is because of a large culmination of stresses that are in my everyday life. I've been having some people for the last 5 years help support me. And the hope was that my YouTube channel would be able to grow to a point to where in 5 years I'd be able to just afford my own place. The living situation has always been a really big frustration. Ever since 2009, I got into an ATV accident in December of 2008, and ever since 2009, when I wound up coming home and all of that, it just wound up being a real difficult process of getting my own housing. And so I had to sidestep. I needed to find some other way to get my own housing. I wound up actually quitting my job. I'll talk about more why I quit my job. And then I got a job doing something completely different. I mean, the only thing that's within my skill set is the power tools. I'm really familiar with power tools, but there's a good variety of different tasks that I've never, ever had to focus on in my entire adult life inside of the workforce. And so this is just such a dramatically different type of job. But they had employee housing available, and I'm recording this voiceover while living at employee housing. Okay, so this is the first video that is partially made while I'm actually housed in my own place, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. But this does not mark a benchmark in terms of, okay, now it's time for Orphan Last to come back to YouTube and start posting more videos. And some of the reason is because there's around 5,000 subscribers. That's when trolls start coming out, when the more toxic sort of personalities start coming out. And, I thought that I was ready for that, but I've never had a troll actually try to steal something from me. And what they're trying to steal is Orphan Last. They're trying to steal the channel. And I understand that a fan base can oftentimes develop a sense of ownership when they start feeling connected to something. And I really appreciate that. And I understand that a lot of trolls don't realize that they have devolved a relationship into being a troll and victim sort of situation. But the thing is I have a lot of stressors in my everyday life. Before I quit the job that I was doing, the job making faux rock, I have a video series titled What I Do for a Living. It's only like 3 videos, but it's a really cool job, and I had to quit that job. Ultimately, every single person there was primarily Mormon. Okay. Mormons, they have a way of behaving that they will always paint themselves out as either being the virtuous one or the victim. And the thing is they will get everyone else around them to agree with them. And a lot of this is because they believe that belief is a choice. Once a religion winds up saying that belief is a choice and actually celebrates that, well, why even bother having an official doctrine to begin with if belief is just a choice? And basically reality is this malleable thing that can just change at any moment, and ultimately the truth is so malleable that all it takes is a group of people to believe in something in order for it to become true. So I find this very manipulative. I think that to some extent, yes, belief is a choice, which makes belief less valid within the arena of ideas. It's effective only as in terms of rhetoric. But, of course, everyone wants their beliefs to coincide with reality. But I guess to some extent, our biases can get us to believe things. And to some extent, maybe to some extent, belief can be a choice. Like, for example, sometimes we find ourselves in a Schrodinger's cat sort of situation. But that should not be celebrated in my point of view. I think that is something that is a human frailty, and but the way that Mormons wind up exercising it, it's a way of bearing false witness without bearing false witness. I mean, is a lie really a lie if you believe the lie is the truth 100% and your 3 best friends agree with you? I've encountered a lot of really frustrating situations. One way that you know that a group of people, whether it's the KKK or whatever, a cult or some organization of some sort, is stonewalling and basically twisting your arm, is when you find yourself in a situation where somebody comes over to you and is really nice to you, but when the whole rest of the group shows up, that person that was just nice to you is every bit as mean to you as everybody else, okay? Basically, what this basically means is you're being strong-armed and stonewalled. And the reason why they are being nice to you when they're alone with you is because they genuinely feel as though you're a good person. They don't agree with all of their friends that say that you deserve some sort of bad, poor treatment. And then their friends show up, and then all of a sudden they're mean to you because your lack of popularity can be infectious. Like they can actually, if they're nice to you in front of their friends, they will contract your lack of popularity like a sickness or a disease, and the entire group will wind up eating him alive. And so just so that he can keep on and keep a sane life, he tries to keep that by being cruel. And I understand where they're coming from, but it's still a very screwed up situation. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Matthew 16:26. That's right. I said it to you Mormons. In all politeness, you have lost your soul. It got to the point where, especially in the last 2 years, if I left the house and I was having a conversation, these people had influenced so many people that pretty much if I was having a conversation, it was an argument every single time. And it didn't matter how often I was saying, let's just try to get along with each other. I don't see any reason to argue. Yeah, let's just try to be peacekeepers, and, trying to throw out little statements like that, trying to diffuse situations and trying to be a peacekeeper. But no, they're always adamant that everything has to be an argument, no matter how mild the situation is. That's basically what my life was for the last 2 years. And so this started to really boil over. And I wound up getting onto my Discord server and onto my YouTube channel and seeing that there's these comments from these trolls that are trying to tell me that I have to make the video that they want me to make. And because maybe they might have convinced me to make a video, and I thought it was a good idea at the time. And I was thinking, thanks for the support. Hey, this video is going to really help this person because they really wanted this video made, and they wouldn't be able to make it because they lack the expertise, and I'm the only person that is currently listening to them. So I am doing them a favor. And then so I release the video, and then they behave as if I owe them something. And it's like, well, wait a second. No, I just did you a favor. Thank you for your support, but I did you a favor. And then they're trying to steal Orphan Last from me because since I happen to have done something for them, therefore they must be my boss. They're telling me what to do, and then they're basically talking in the public arena on my Discord server and trying to make it out to seem like basically they hold sway not only on me but on my audience. And after getting threatened in so many different ways, whether overt or covert, I can see when someone is messing with me. And ultimately, even though I still hold it sacred to avoid unrighteous dominion and to give 3 strikes and you're out, there are some exceptions to the rule. I have 5,000 plus subscribers. Now, if 1 or 2 subscribers are going to make it so that I'm not going to have the motivation to wake up, go to work, and then certainly not have enough motivation to make more content on my channel, well, you know what? The 5,000 plus subscribers getting more content is a hell of a lot more important than that 1 or 2 subscribers that are really pissing me off and compromising my psychological well-being. And I will block that 1 or 2 subscribers that are causing problems, and it may happen with or without warning, and it may be mid-sentence. It doesn't matter. If I feel like I'm possibly going to slip into depression, that probably means I've been depressed for the last 6 months or something. And so if you get blocked without warning, it says something. It says that you really overstepped your bounds. Please keep in mind that my Discord server and my YouTube comment section, it's kind of like, a house. You don't enter into somebody's house and take a shit on their carpet. That's just common sense. Okay, but if you're actually genuinely a fan, I understand, and just try to understand, be polite, try to be respectful, and I guarantee you I'll try to be respectful as well. But I am not a punching bag at all. The pressures of having some trolls telling me that I can't talk to them that way when I'm saying, hey, you need to talk to me a lot more polite. This is out of the question. Like, don't ever talk to me this way. And they're like, oh, you can't talk to me that way. No, I can, and I'm giving you a warning at that. I'm not trying to, I hate talking about this because the overwhelming majority of my audience is wonderful. But the thing is hypothetically speaking, since I have 5,000 plus subscribers, I could potentially have 5,000 plus people yelling at me every single day just because my channel isn't what they want it to be. And that does not excite me. And at $36 a month, I understand people see 5,000 subscribers and they think this guy's making a lot of money. But no, I'm making $36 a month. People are yelling at me, and this is during the time of the day where I'm usually looking forward to it. I'm usually looking forward to jumping onto my YouTube channel and working on it. But if people are yelling at me, it winds up spoiling it. It spoils everything. It ruins my entire day. It ruins my entire week, and it makes it so that I experience what I started to experience that made me kind of go on break. It made it so that every time I would record the voiceover, I would just keep editing it and editing it and editing it, and then I'd start from scratch and keep editing it and editing it and editing it, and then start from scratch again. I was never happy with it. I was so unbelievably upset. Now, I understand some people have OCD. I don't. At some point, you have to make something as best as you can, whether it's a tutorial or what have you, or a YouTube channel in general. So you make your content and then you move on. You make the best content that you can. And if I don't cover absolutely everything, because what happens is sometimes I will make a video and then it's the best video on the topic on YouTube for 6 or 7 months or maybe a year or two, and then somebody goes ahead and copies almost absolutely verbatim everything that I did, and they add 20 seconds of extra content with some helpful information that wasn't included inside of my video. And then they release it, and then all of a sudden my video is second best on YouTube. And then I get a troll telling me that I need to do better because my video is not the best one on YouTube about that topic. And it's well, there's no way I can prevent someone from coming in after the fact, copying me, and then just adding a little bit of extra content at the end. I didn't even think of that content.
No, you need to think ahead.
Is basically the response that I get.
You need to do better. Don't worry. We'll get you there.
Is a statement that I've been getting. I'm willing to listen to you and your wants and desires and stuff like that to some extent, but you can't boss me around. That's not the way this works. Okay. If I don't have every last bit of information inside of one of my tutorials, then the reason why I didn't think to mention it is usually because it's not very important. Sometimes people just need to discover some things on their own, and spoon-feeding every last bit of information. Even if I did that, all that you would learn is the shape of the spoon, okay? I'm trying to teach people how to be independent artists and how to think for themselves. I mean, they're the artist, they're the master of their own compositions, so they need to know when they're picture is finished, okay? There's no amount of spoon feeding that I can provide that can tell you when your picture is finished, or that it's even very good or not, okay? Spoon feeding doesn't necessarily render the best results. And what I've also noticed is that sometimes these trolls, they seem to have this idea that I shouldn't include my mistakes inside of my tutorials. Every once in a while, I've included some of my mistakes along the way, and I show you guys how I correct my mistakes. And, of course, this is followed up with,
don't worry, we'll get you there.
And, again, there is no we in that sort of situation unless I specifically appointed you and am paying you money to help me get there. And if if we're in that situation, then you are doing my bidding because I would be the employer under that specific situation. Okay? And I've actually had somebody in that situation fairly recently as a very, very part-time employee of Orphan Last. And that person weighs in just fine, at least so far. I felt like there's a mutual respect with this very part-time employee. But my artistic standards are mine, and I hold myself to my artistic standards. It's not my job to live up to somebody else's artistic standards that they hold to themselves, okay? I've had a number of trolls demanding that I do my artwork better because I taught how to measure things properly in linear perspective, and then they grab a curvilinear perspective drawing, and their measurements on the curvilinear perspective drawing aren't working very well because they're using straight lines on a curvilinear perspective image to do the measurements because they for some reason don't seem to understand that it's a curvilinear perspective image, and yet they tell me that I need to live up to their particular standards. Or what I've been having is the trolls are sometimes they're saying every picture has to be a masterpiece, and I'm saying, well, it kind of depends on how much you're being paid. Like, I'm not gonna starve myself to death because some guy's paying me $20 to make some grand masterpiece. Now, if someone pays me $20 to draw a picture, they're going to get a $20 masterpiece. And even after I say this, it seems like they completely ignore what I just said. And they say, yeah, see, everything has to be a masterpiece, 100%, the best you can ever do. And it's like, well, it could be the best you could ever do within like an hour. That's fine. It could be the best you could ever do for 20 minutes. If they give you like $10 and they're like, hey, draw something real quick. Okay, 20 minutes here, real quick. I'll draw something real quick for you. It'll look like a sketch. I mean, there's plenty of, like, even these same trolls that criticize like this, they have looked through sketchbooks where the images are not finished. They are not grand masterpieces. They are excellent sketches, excellent practice. Basically, a $20 masterpiece. Okay? That's basically what a lot of people's sketchbooks are. And they're not masterpieces. They're not the best that the artist can do. But there are plenty of people that will be willing to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars just for one artist's sketchbook. Okay? So the thing that has the most value isn't always the grand masterpieces. Sometimes it's just those little knickknacks that you are working on in between the masterpieces that wind up becoming valuable, So, like I said, I'm only responsible for my artistic standards. It's not my job to live up to somebody else's artistic standards at all, okay? Especially if that person has never gotten anything published and never done any commissions or anything like that. I think that at that point, if I'm talking to somebody who's completely unaccomplished in every category when it comes to being an artist, like they don't have a fan base, they don't do commissions, they haven't been published in any way, shape, or form ever, okay, whatever their artistic standards are, it doesn't matter. My artistic standards are actually superior in my mind because I'm actually the one that has done some professional content. I've picked up commissions and such like that. Like if I'm asking, hey, how many commissions have you done? And they kind of keep beating around the bush, it means that you're not a professional. And maybe don't come down so hard on me because maybe I can see the forest from the trees from my position, and maybe at that situation you don't. I guess I'm trying to give advice to people who become trolls without realizing it, because in the end, when you're talking to a troll, you're wasting your time. But if I can prevent as many people as possible from becoming a cancerous, cancel culture, woke troll, then that would be great, because that means I would have to use the ban hammer a lot less. I don't like using it. I would like to make that clear. With Mormonism always having their cake and eating it too by having belief be a choice, stonewalling me twisting my arm. I also wound up in about 4 different Mormon interventions in the span of 1 month. And this really frustrates me because every time that I wind up at a Mormon intervention where I'm surrounded by like 60 Mormons trying to convert me, all that this means is Mormons are insisting that I fall upon my sword again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's like an infinite amount of times, and I'm fed up with it. It's emotionally draining, and since I had to do it about 4 or 5 times in the span of a month, and then I jump onto my Discord server and somebody's yelling at me, I hit a breaking point. My online behavior started to get really erratic, and then I deleted my Twitter account because I'm yelling at my audience. I'm arguing with my audience, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a toxic audience because I'm being toxic to my audience, and Twitter is the perfect environment that feeds into hate and anger. I can't stand Twitter. I hate it. I hate it. Every aspect of it. I hate it. So yeah, the official Orphan Last Twitter account has been closed for a while. I guess also I've been talking to a business consultant. I wish I could tell you guys, oh yeah, we're going towards this specific direction, but it's all still been kind of conversations that are still up in the air. Basically, he gave me a free consultation and told me to read 3 books, which by now I would have had one of them read, but I've been so busy moving into employee housing that I've slowed down significantly, and I have every intention of reading those books so that I have a good foundation, basically a good starting point to where he can have a conversation with me using terminology that comes naturally to him, but doesn't so much for me, but I'm already kind of familiar with it because I read the 3 books. That's ultimately what he wants me to do. And so that's what I'm going to be working on. As soon as I'm fully moved in, I plan on spending a lot of time reading those books and devouring every last bit of information. I want to be back on YouTube. I want to be back, and I want to be having a regular release schedule and all that, but I need more money than $36 an hour to do that, okay? Especially if I'm having to deal with trolls that are trying to steal Orphan Last from me. I appreciate the hidden compliment in that, because if people are trying to steal Orphan Last from me, then that means that there is a huge amount of financial power locked and hidden away inside of my YouTube channel, and somehow I just need to find the combination to open it up. That's what is ultimately what's needed. Obviously, it's of value if people are trying to steal it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I don't know when I'm going to be back, but after these 4 Mormon interventions that I went to, or basically just wound up finding myself in, I've come to this conclusion that Mormons want Mormonism to be at the forefront of my thoughts, and they want Mormonism to be on my lips. They want me to talk about it. They want me to live it. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So during this time that I'm away, I will be working occasionally on some videos. So in the somewhat relative near future, you have a few things that you can expect, okay? And first and foremost, I'd like to make it clear that I love my family. My whole family is Mormon, and I would never do anything that would make my family ashamed of me. That's where I'm at this point. But even still, I plan on releasing an open letter to Mormonism, where I deliver what Mormons would refer to as righteous judgment. Righteous judgment isn't always kind, but it is accurate. So you can expect that video. I have a couple other videos that I would like to make, such as what it's like to grow up as a worthy Mormon. That's going to be a video that I'm thinking about making. I'm basically talking about my childhood, talking about Mormonism, and all of that stuff, all that jazz. Behind the scenes, I've been kind of working on a comic strip. It's still kind of under development, but I've kind of made some semi-professional looking images. I've released a few on my Discord. I'm still releasing some sort of content, but it's primarily exclusively on my Discord server. So if you have not joined my Discord server, a link is in the video description below. It's a great place to have conversations with me. It's a great place to get artistic critiques and all of that. I know that the future seems really unsure right now on my Orphan Last YouTube channel, but I have no intention of just walking away and abandoning 5 years worth of work. I just need there to be a firm, solid business foundation to support my channel. Now, some people may say that that's just greed, but no. It would be great to have something replace my day job, to replace the employee housing, all of it. It would be great. Basically, I met one deadline with my housing situation, and I'm now safe. The ticking time bomb with my spine is not as severe or dangerous as it used to be because I'm not doing the same laborious line of work. But I basically traded one timetable for another timetable. What happens when I'm 60 or 70 years old and all of my injuries catch up with me at that point and maybe I need to be in a wheelchair? It would probably be an electric wheelchair because I've broken so many bones that it would be hard to wheel myself around. So what kind of job can I do at that point, and how can I keep employee housing under those circumstances? So I'm thinking I need to still work on my YouTube channel in some way. And so I pretty soon here will be hard at work reading those books, and I'll be back as soon as I can. I promise you guys.